I'm the youth pastor at City Impact Church, so I get to hang out with young people. We put on events every Friday night. We hang out with them, we disciple them. I basically get to share my life with a bunch of awesome young people and encourage them in their walk with God. My wife obviously is also a youth pastor. Her name's Raquel. She's beautiful and amazing, my better half. But also my brother and sister-in-law, Gavin and Bianca, they're youth pastors along with us as well. But yeah, so there's an awesome team, and obviously Pastor Greg and Krista, who have been the youth pastors and youth directors of church for a long time. They support us, and they're right there alongside us, cheering us along. So yeah, it's great. Youth is definitely an important aspect of City Impact Church. Pastor Peter and Bev always talk about laying up a legacy for those who come. They're the ones that come behind. They're the ones that they need to go further, reach further for His glory, as Pastor Peter always says. And they're the ones that will be the witnesses and the evangelists and the pastors and the preachers and the businessmen, for God's glory in the years to come. So it's hugely important. When I think about what life is, it's not easy, and I see a generation of people growing up who are, compared to past generations, relatively unparented. They're the generation that grows up with divorces and normality, or there's a bunch of things that encourage people towards sin more than they've ever been encouraged towards sin ever before. So that's, if you're a young person, you're literally navigating a minefield these days. You can't go to school, you can't go out with your friends without being tempted, without being tested and bombarded by advertising, and more than ever before. The answer is to know and follow Christ themselves, and they need people who are not only willing to encourage them in their walk with God, but go through the hard times and the good times, stick with them, be their confidant, be their closest friend at times, be the one to give them advice and discipline, where parents maybe aren't. Young people, when I look at young people, I literally see a ball of limitless potential. They're at that place in their life where they can literally do anything, and not only can they do anything, but they still believe they can do anything. They haven't faced and gone through and withstood all the upsets and disappointments that people can go through as life goes on. And so when you invest into them, you're literally investing into a limitless future. And I think it's so important that at that age, if they can grasp their faith, if they can really understand that to follow Jesus is the single most important thing that they could do with their life, then it literally sets them up for success for the rest of their lives. YOLO. It gets chucked around all sorts of places. You see it on Instagram, hashtag YOLO, and it usually accompanies young people doing something stupid, to be honest. And that thought, I'm only going to live once, make the most of it, I think is actually it's not only the negative to it, but it's also can be the positive for it. You only live once, what are you going to do with your life? You only live once, what decisions are you going to make? You only live once, when you're gone, what mark have you left on the world? What difference have you made? What have you created? What have you changed? Is there anything different? Is there anything that you've done of substance? I think it works twofold. There's always going to be the people that look at it and go, you only live once, I'm going to do what I want. But I think there's a generation that are more social conscious than they've ever been before, and they go, I'm only going to live once. I refuse to live in a world that is, bad. I refuse to live in a world that has this negative thing in it. And I think that's great for Christians, because they only live once, and they're aware that they're only going to be on this planet once. And so they're encouraged to do something of substance, and there's no middle ground in that. I would say to them that you can't have a foot in both camps as such. You can't be 50-50 on it. You either are a follower of Christ or you're a lover of yourself, basically. And so I'd encourage them that they only have one life. Live it for Christ, live it loud, be confident in your faith, be bold, make a difference for God.